Ago, this is all new just for you, what it says about Texans and who they want to run for president. And it may not be who you think.
Also, a new development in the fight over the state's new abortion law, what the Supreme Court is now asking from Texas.
Polls open in about an hour. This morning, we're looking into the items that you will see on the ballot.
Good morning to you once again. 6:01 is your time. I'm Brian Sanders.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sally Hernandez. Amanda has the latest when it comes to your traffic. Oh, boy, the fog. I saw it from the traffic camera.
Yes, it's already very dense, but the thing is that we're seeing delays beginning to pick up earlier this morning, so that's fairly a good sign that most people are getting an earlier start to their day, trying to get through it so they can get to their destination on time.
Mark has a look at our forecast to see if that fog will break up later this morning.
It's going to be a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty thick right now in many spots, including the I-35 corridor, where we're seeing from about New Braunfels up to Georgetown or so. Basically a half of a mile of visibility, if not lower than that in some spots. So yeah, you got to maybe leave a minute or two early and take it easy out there. But the fog will begin to burn off over the next few hours. In the meantime, a few pockets of drizzle accompanying that low cloud deck early today, but we're going to turn that into more of a light to moderate rain, scattered variety stuff as the afternoon comes around. So keep the umbrellas handy. Otherwise, it's a really nice feel to the air this morning. Mid-60s in most spots, a little breeze out there too. We'll see a breeze about 10 to 15 miles per hour today, underneath partly to mainly cloudy skies once the fog burns off. So we will see a few peaks of sun, and those few peaks there will get us back to 78 degrees for a high, so a little warmer than yesterday, with a 50% chance of afternoon and evening showers. Heavy rain possible tonight and into tomorrow morning. We'll talk about the implications that may have on possible flooding in just a few minutes. But Mandy, at this point, at 6:03, let's send it to you.
All right, thank you, Mark. Happy Tuesday to you. Now let's talk about your commute. If you're about to scoop up those keys, I'm sure you're wondering how things are moving along on I-35. As you heard me say, we're starting to see more commuters on the roadway than we usually do, and I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably because of the fog, trying to beat the rush hour. Major bumper to bumper here. Northbound 35 from Onion Creek to Airport, about 14 minutes for you there. That certainly will change, though, within the next half hour or so. Southbound now from Pflugerville to Stastny, 18 minutes. We're starting to see slow and go stretching up from just north of 183 all the way into the downtown area. A live look outside here. We're taking it back to I-35 at Stastny north and southbound lanes. Can't really make out the lanes, but we can make out those brake lights as well as the headlights in each direction. Looks like, again, things are picking up, especially in this spot as people try to make their way over to Ben White Boulevard. Another check of your roads in only 10.
Okay, thank you. So today is Election Day, and if the 2016 presidential primary elections, if they were held today, the outcome might surprise you with this new poll. It was released just a few minutes ago. It shows Texas Republicans have a new favorite. Take a look at the results put together by our media partner, the Texas Tribune and the University of Texas. Poll takers were asked to pick from the following possible candidates. Texas U.S. Senator Ted Cruz came in at the top with 32%. The closest to him, Governor Rick Perry, with 10%. Now followed by Jeb Bush, Paul Ryan, Marco Rubio, and Rand Paul, all in the single digits. 19% said they have not thought enough about it to have an opinion. Well, despite recent criticism from his own party, this poll shows Republican Texans are still behind U.S. Senator Ted Cruz.
Cruz polled at 25% in June, 32% now in October, suggesting that among Republicans, Cruz has actually improved his standing by fighting the Obamacare legislation and by filibustering, or faux filibustering, if you will, the budget deal over the summer.
While Senator Cruz ranks at the top of the 2016 GOP primary poll, the same survey shows the majority who took part in the poll have a very unfavorable opinion of Cruz. And when it comes to the governor's race, the latest polls show Republican Attorney General Greg Abbott as the front runner, but Democratic Senator Wendy Davis trails Abbott by just 5 points. We're talking about 40 to 35. Libertarian Kathy Glass takes 5% of the vote. However, 20% of Texans are still undecided.
Well, the polls here in Austin and across Central Texas open in less than an hour at 7 o'clock this morning. One of the big items on the ballot that you get to decide in Austin is the affordable housing bond. It's a $65 million bond that would build new and renovate existing apartments. Our Kate Whitehaw is live in North Austin with details. Hi, Kate.
Hey, good morning, Brian. Well, we're live at the Travis County Clerk's Office, one of the many places you can come vote today. And the reason we're talking about the affordable housing bond is because it is one of the most divided issues on the ballot. In fact, last November, it failed by only 7,000 votes. 51% of voters opposed this. And there is lots of opposition to it. There is a new organization called Texans for Accountable Government. They started a Facebook page saying voters already said they didn't want this measure last November. Why is it on the ballot again this November? But a grassroots organization also started up, and they've been trying to show voters who this bond is impacting.
When you're 3, a few things are certain. You have endless energy, and your favorite superhero is Spider-Man. But the one thing Sarah Campsey didn't expect when Cooper was born were all the medical bills.
His legs were crisscrossed, kind of like crisscross applesauce, how the kids sit. They were stuck in that position. After he was born, I had to stop working, so he had to have several surgeries. He's had 10 surgeries so far and multiple doctor's appointments, physical therapy, speech therapy, all that.
That orange?
That's orange, that's right.
Her husband's income just wasn't enough to make ends meet.
We were at a point where it was either rent or food.
They got on a very long waiting list for affordable housing and ended up at this complex in South Austin, a place that benefited from the 2006 affordable housing bond.
It was very run down, half the apartments were uninhabitable, and the bonds allowed Foundation Communities to come in, completely renovate this area, create this learning center, which had not been part of the community before.
The organization Keep Austin Affordable is pushing for this new $65 million housing bond because it opens up many doors for additional funding.
The housing bonds actually allow us to go out and find additional funds through federal grants, private funding, and that accesses funds that require a city investment, so we couldn't actually get those funds without the housing bonds.
How many more balls are there?
And Sarah doesn't know what they would have done if it hadn't been for the last bond.
I mean, it helps real families stay together and be able to keep working and keep supporting their family as best they can.
And while that side supports this bond measure, let's talk about the other side again, because again, there is opposition to this. The Travis County Taxpayers Union says they don't want to see this pass because they don't want to see taxpayer money go to repay the bond. Also, interestingly enough, last November, the voters that voted against this actually lived further outside of the city. Many people who lived in the suburbs voted against it, whereas those who lived downtown and east of the city voted for it. Of course, the decision is up to you again today, and we'll keep you posted on what happens. We're live in North Austin. Kate Whitehaw, KXAN News.
Interesting split there. Okay. Thank you, Kate.